was the energy that Anthony gave you when you put him in the game? And I saw right before he went in, you went over and talked to Doug and said something to him. Could you kind of take us through your thinking and deciding to put him in, and then the energy that he gave you?
Well, that's what he does. Is he plays with a tremendous amount of energy. He's good defensively, but just the energy level that he brings. I could have played him the last game, but I didn't want to rush things. I didn't think he'd had enough reps of going up and down the court, full court, every day in practice, which I think is what I said to everybody in the press conference. But we've gotten away from that and had a few more practices, and he's been wanting to play. And I do think just that the energy level that he has, and every now and then he'll add a bonus like making a 3-point shot, but just his energy level is extremely important to us, and it gave us a little lift at that time.
So you like what you saw in that limited sample size?
Yeah, but that's who he is. That's what he does every day, and he's extremely active young man, and there's some other things that he doesn't do as well that some of the other guys do better, but Anthony does give you a level of energy that's important to you.
Thank you.
Alyssa Ray.
Coach, Caleb was playing with so much confidence today. What improvements have you seen from him as the season goes on?
I think that, he's been so concerned about his shot not going in. It's really hurt the rest of his game because he can be really, really good defensively too. He has all the tools to be a fantastic defensive player, and that's where he needs to improve the most. Today we needed him to play at a little faster pace, be more attacking, because when you're playing Florida State, it's either attack or you're going to be attacked. But I think that his shot is coming around a little bit more, and that's something that he needs for his own confidence.
Brendan?
Hey, Coach. Yeah, you guys only had, I think, 3 turnovers in the first 18 minutes, but then ended up finishing with 14. What were the guys doing right in the first half, and what sort of changed later on into the game?
Well, I think we started turning it over in the second half inside, because they were just they're a scrappy team. They have a sense of urgency that they play with all the time, and I think that's one of the characteristics of all of Leonard's teams. And I think most of our turnovers were in there, but also, Kerwin has the ball and tries to lob it over to Dayron, and their guy came from outside the 3-point line on the other side and stole the ball. So he made a heck of a defensive play. So it was some of our play not being what we wanted it to be, but it's also that's how hard they played today.
CL?
Roy, what do you feel like the addition of Anthony Harris is going to do for the rotation moving forward?
CL, I really don't have any idea. It's those guys, they earn it during practice. You either earn it during practice or you lose it during practice. He does have a tremendous level of energy, but I'm not going to go play that kid 25, 30 minutes a game. He's just getting back. Today, the first time I took him out is because he asked to come out. His level of conditioning is not game-like, and we'll just have to wait and see.
Thanks.
Adam Smith.
Roy, I know we ask you all the time about what you learned from wins and losses, but does this in any way give you maybe even more of a heightened sense of things, playing a team that hasn't lost at home in a really long time, a good team, and you were right there close and had a chance to take the lead a couple times late?
It's just cliche to say that you're not interested in moral victories, and I don't think I've said that 100 times in my life. I've probably said it before, but I just want us to play better. You get the game to a one-possession game, and you make some mistakes, miss some shots. You're not quite as powerful going up with it, or you get it to one and then you don't get a defensive stop. So we just got to get better in all those things. And they're a good team. On Wednesday night, what they did to North Carolina State was as good a performance as I've seen all year long, except one of Gonzaga's games. But so yes, I think that we did some things that I think were good. But as a coach, at the end of the game, you just try to figure out how to take away the mistakes that you made is the biggest thing you spend your time doing. And so we're going to try to go back and see if we can correct those mistakes and congratulate them and try to play better our next game.
Ross?
Yeah, I was going to ask a similar question, kind of building on that. What did you learn in particular about this team, whether a positive or negative? Anything in particular that you think stood out today?
Well, guys, you guys, and I'm not picking on you, Ross, by any means, but you guys ask questions about what did you take from the game, and do you guys go back and ask that about every daggum article you write? Like, you have to think about it, and you have to put some brain power into it, and we'll look at the tape. Coach Smith used to never talk to the team after the game. He'd say, everybody huddle up, and that was it. And the reason he did that is because he wanted to look at the tape so he'd be more sure of what was going on out there. I've got 100 ideas in my mind that I think that we can take, but we got to look back and see if there's some things that we can change easily. And I think if we can find the things that we can change easily, that's what we'll focus on. But we've got to, you can't just put people on the free throw line just because they drive the ball to the basket. They were so much more aggressive than us all day long. And we're dribbling the ball across the top of the key or across the top of the three-point line and wait until the shot clock gets down to 10 seconds. That's the biggest thing, is we've got to be more efficient on the offensive end.
All right, we got time for two more with Coach Kip and then Bridget.
Yeah, Roy, kind of building off that, are you encouraged, though, that you made that late game run with 3 freshmen and a redshirt freshman plus Garrison on the floor?
I'm encouraged, Kip, when we always make runs. I really feel like it. For 100 million games, it seems like that when we've been behind, that we always kept playing, and I think we did that today. We just had some mistakes. We couldn't get stops. When we'd do some good things and make some good plays, we couldn't get stops at that time. So, again, I'll look at it on tape, and yes, we'll recognize who we've got out there and say that's pretty good. But this generation is who knows if they're going to be around tomorrow, much less thinking about 03 freshmen, and we're going to have those guys for 4 years. I mean, it's a different world, and so what you have to do is who's on the court for you at that specific time, how well did they play?
Okay, Bridget, last one for Coach Williams.
Coach, I know you just kind of talked about that you have to wait and take all this in, but just how close do you think you guys are? There were moments in the game where you looked like a really good team, and then obviously struggles as well.
Well, it's hard to say, Bridget. I mean, it's a game of runs. We always know that. We've had some teams in the past that had a much longer run, 3 or 4 times than the other team, and that usually decided the game. But I think we are getting better. I think we're doing some things better, but I'm about as frustrated right now as you can possibly be, because I just think of the little things that I think we could have done better that would have helped us. But Florida State is really good. They have a coach that's been around for quite a while. That's a great coach. He's a guy that's going to be in our Hall of Fame in basketball, and should be in the Hall of Fame. And he knows what he's doing with his guys too. And he has one thing that everybody would love to have, is he has depth. I should say 2 things, but he's also had 4 redshirt juniors and 4 seniors, and those guys know what he wants. And I'm talking to my guys in a huddle about what I wanted to do at the end. They're looking at me. They had no idea what I was talking about. And so I think that Leonard just does a great job with his guys, gets them to buy in on the team. He gets them to buy in on the team does well. I mean, everybody said, well, God almighty, he had 2 picks in the first 11 in the first round last year. Well, he won the league. I mean, he knows how to develop his players, and they get better. So, again, it's not a moral victory that we were close. I don't look at those things, but I do look at the things that I think we can improve and try to get to an opportunity to improve before our next game.